Welcome back everybody. Today I'm pretty excited because we're going to be taking a look at the guitar part from the song Shape of My Heart by Sting. Now this one was released in 1993 and it also features on the hit film Leon, which was released in 1994. Sting's guitar player Dominic came up with this part and it's one of my all-time favourites. It brings a tear to the eye every time. Now the original recording was made with a nylon string guitar, but if you don't have one, don't worry, this part will sound lovely on any type of guitar, and you may find that playing it on an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar with a lower action might even be easier than performing it on a nylon string. The song starts out in the key of F sharp minor, and the guitar part is constructed from chords from within that key. The song modulates into the key of C sharp minor for the harmonica solo. There's a sequence of chords that take us into that modulation, and there's also a sequence of chords to learn to take us out back into the key of F sharp minor. But first up, we're going to concentrate on the main guitar part that everybody knows. This is repeated over and over again throughout the track, so it's worth spending a bit of time on it. I'll play you through that part now, and then we can get into the nitty-gritty of how to approach learning it. Okay, the main concept for the construction of this part is the 10th interval. Now, other parts that use this idea are Blackbird by Paul McCartney and also Scar Tissue by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And all the 10th interval is taking the third of the chord and placing it up the octave. So for this first chord, we've got an F sharp root note there on the 9th fret of the 5th string. And then the 10th interval is the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So we get those two together. Now this is a bit of a stretch. I'm using my footstool today to get the guitar up at an angle, and this helps me with the facility of the fretting hand. The other interval we're placing in there is the 6th fret of the 3rd string, and that provides that F sharp minor chord. Now we can also refer to this as an open voice triad. Now we've got the fretting of the first chord under our fingers, we can talk about the picking pattern. I'm using a fingerstyle technique, and the thumb is going to be concentrated on the 5th string. And then I've got the first finger on the 3rd string and the second finger on the 2nd string. Now the picking pattern is fairly simple, but it's well worth getting this down securely as it's repeated throughout the entire song. Let's take a look at that picking pattern slowed down. So the picking pattern starts off with a pinch between the thumb and the second finger. Next up, there's a thumb downstroke on the bass note, followed by a pluck with the first finger. And the pattern is finished off with a pluck of finger 2 on the 2nd string. I'm going to play the whole pattern slowly and repeat it so that you can play along and get that into your fingers. Okay, the next chord is E add 6. So this one is 7th fret on the 5th string and the 6th fret on the 3rd string and then the 9th fret on the 2nd string. And that gives a 10th interval between the E and the G sharp, and then adds in that 6 down there on the 6th fret of the G string. Let's listen to that one with our picking pattern added to it. Now our next chord is the same shape, just moved down 2 frets. So we've got the second finger fretting the 5th fret of the 5th string, and then the first finger is fretting the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and then that finishes up with the 4th finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Now this one looks like a D major 6, but we've actually got the B being played by the bass, so it functions as a B minor chord. Our final chord is a C#7 sus4. I'm fingering that one with a first finger on the 4th fret of the 5th string, and then I'm using a sort of bar which is going across onto the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and that allows me to put my 4th finger up there on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Now I'm going to keep that in position because I need to then change it to the final chord, which is C#7. And that's done by just changing from finger 4 on the 2nd string at fret 7 to finger 3 on fret 6 of the 2nd string. Let's listen to how that move sounds. I'll repeat it over and over. So now we're going to put it all together. I'm going to repeat this round and round. You can play along and that'll hopefully get it into your muscle memory. And then we can talk about a few little tiny bits of detail that we can add in. Okay, one thing we haven't talked about is the muting of the open strings. This is quite an important feature because we're only playing 3 strings at any one time and the rest could ring out and ruin the part. So in terms of muting, I'm just making sure that my 3rd finger is muting that D string, and I'm also making sure that my 4th finger is leaning over and muting that E string. So when I play, you should only hear those 3 notes ringing out. Another thing I'm doing is adding a little bit of finger vibrato to taste. This is very subtle on the recording, just a tiny little bit helps the chord to sit and sing. Now there is a slight variation on the repeat of this sequence before we move into the turnaround to create the entire verse part, and that is to move the first finger from fret 6 on that F sharp minor chord up to fret 7. So the first chord of the repeat is 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 5th string, first finger on the 3rd string at fret 7, and the 4th finger at fret 10 on the 2nd string. And this just gives us a slightly different sound before we move into the next chord. So let's hear how this sequence sounds with our new variation chord starting out. Okay, so that brings us nicely onto the turnaround. We've played the first part, and then we've repeated it with the variation, and now we're going in to a collection of chords which complete that verse structure. First one is a D add 6. So that is an open D string on the 4th string. First finger is going to be on fret 4 of the 3rd string. 4th finger is going to be on fret 7 of the 2nd string. And then the 2nd finger is going to be on fret 5 of the 1st string. We've got a new picking pattern to be added in, so I'm going to repeat this one round and round slowly so you can play along and get it into your muscles. Next up, we've got an A sus2 going to an A5 chord. So our basis is the A5 chord, fingering is 0 on the 5th string, 2 on the 4th string, 2 on the 3rd string, and then the 4th finger is playing the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and that gives us our A5 chord. To get the sus2, we're hammering on to fret number 4 of the 3rd string. So we've just got 4 more chords to learn and then we've got the entire sequence. First one is an open voice triad for C sharp. That's fingered 4th on the 5th string, 6 on the 4th string, and 6 on the 2nd string. And then we take that same shape up a semitone to the 5th fret to create a D open voice triad, 5, 7, 7. The next one is G sharp minor 11. This is a little bit tricky. I finger it with a thumb bass note, and then I go 3rd finger on the 4th string at fret 4. I go 4th finger at fret 4 on the 3rd string, and then I play a bar across the 2nd fret on the top 2 strings. Now, you might not have a big enough grip to make this one work, so an alternative fingering would be to replace the thumb with the 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 6th string. So reading across from the 6th string, it goes 4th fret, nothing on the 5th string, 4th fret, 4th fret, and then a bar across fret 2 on the top strings. Let's listen to how that sounds. The final chord is an F sharp minor bar chord played on the 2nd fret. I'm going to play that with an upward strum. And the fingering for that one is a 2nd fret bar, and then the 3rd finger is coming into fret number 4 of the 5th string, and the 4th finger is coming into fret number 4 of the 4th string. That sounds like this. Okay, let's put that turnaround section together. I'm going to repeat it slowly, quite a lot to remember there, and then we can put the whole lot together to get the entire verse part. So that's pretty much everything you need to know to play the verse and chorus section. For the harmonica solo, the song pivots into the key of C sharp minor. To get there, we just need to learn a couple of extra chords. So the first one is going to be D major 7. I'm fingering that with a 2nd finger bar. This is going to be played with a big fingerstyle pinch, all of the fingers pinching all of the strings at the same time. Sounds like this. This is followed by our G sharp minor 11 chord that we've already looked at. And then we've got an F sharp minor triad, which is fingered with a 2nd finger bar on the top 3 strings, and the 3rd finger's coming into the 4th fret of the 4th string. And then that is followed by an F sharp minor 7. And to get that, we're just taking that 3rd finger off. This is played in a quarter note rhythm, and it sounds like this. Okay, so let's put all that together. I'll play around it again slowly, and to provide a bit of context, I'll play the last bar of the verse and chorus that it comes out of to show how it transitions into these extra bits of chord. And then we'll look at how to play the backing for the harmonica solo. Okay, so for the harmonica solo, we move this part down a 4th. Now the good news is it's essentially the same part with the same picking pattern. The bad news is we're moving across a string set, so it does slightly change the shape of each chord due to the G and B string tuning. So let's just go through each chord individually, and then I'll put it all together and play it slowly round and round. So all of these chords are fingered on the 6th string, the 4th string, and the 3rd string. And the first C sharp minor chord is going to be fret number 9 on the 6th string, fret number 6 on the 4th string, and fret number 9 on the 3rd string. This is followed by the next chord, which is B add 6, and that is fingered 7 on the 6th string, fret number 6 on the 4th string, and fret number 8 on the 3rd string. Just like with the first riff, we move that B add 6 down 2 frets, and that gives us the A add 6 chord, and that is fingered fret number 5 on the 6th string, fret number 4 on the 4th string, and fret number 6 on the 3rd string. And then we've got the G sharp 7 sus4 chord. I'm fingering that one 4th fret on the 6th string, 4th fret on the 4th string, and then we've got 6th fret on the 3rd string, and that moves to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. Okay, I'm going to play through that sequence of chords. It's the same fingerstyle pattern that we've been using up to now. Okay, so next up we've got a sequence of chords that takes us back in to our verse and chorus riff. Okay, we start out with an A add 6 chord, and that is an open 5th string, 4th fret on the 4th string, 6th fret on the 3rd string, and 5th fret on the 2nd string. Next up is an E chord followed by a G sharp 7 chord. So the open E chord is the one we all know. Going across, it is 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0. And then the G sharp 7 is a bar chord up there in the 4th fret. Let's put those 3 chords together. Okay, next up we've got a sequence of chords that starts with A major, and I'm playing that with a 5th fret bar. And then that goes to D sharp minor. The fingering for that one is fret number 6 on the 5th string, fret number 4 on the 4th string, and fret number 6 on the 3rd string. And then that goes to C sharp minor, again on the 4th fret bar. Fingering for that one is 4th fret on the 5th string, 6th fret on the 4th string, 6th fret on the 3rd string, and 5th fret on the 2nd string. And then I just take off my pinky finger from the 3rd string so that we end up with that C sharp minor 7 chord. I'll put this sequence of chords together and repeat it round and round, and you can play along and get it into your fingers. After chorus 3, we play through the sequence of chords that we learnt to get into the harmonica solo, and that takes us into the final couple of repeats of our standard verse and chorus pattern. Okay, to finish off our studies, I've recorded a bespoke video of all of the parts being performed with a backing track. I've also included all of the tab on that video and a backing track at the end for you to practice over. A link to that video is pinned in the comments below. If you hit on that link, you can go over, you can use the YouTube slow downing feature to practice along slowly, and you can also pause the video at any point to check out the tab. To save a bit of time, I've slimmed down the arrangement, cut out a few of the repeats at the start of that same riff that goes over and over, but you'll still end up with all the main information to play the song should you wish to jam along to the original. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really love this part. It's been a pleasure playing through it. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe. I make new videos like this all the time. Also, if you have any comments or questions, please do leave those in the comments below. As ever, my name's been Jon Bishop, and I'll see you next time.